At the start of Season 13, we saw some huge changes to the way that the Apex Legends rank system works. With that, there's now massive emphasis on placing higher in games, and kills are not worth really anything until you are able to break that top 5 threshold. And these changes basically have split the Apex community in half, right down the center. Right now, players either absolutely love the rank changes or they are abandoning ship. So hello everyone, I'm your hostess with the mostest, 8 Second Gaming, and today we're going to be talking a little bit about Apex's current state and why people are leaving and some of the issues that the game is having. Though if you guys are watching this and you're part of the percentage that is loving ranked right now, but you're hitting a bit of a plateau, then you need to check out the GameLeap website right now. Because over there we have insanely informative guides and courses all aimed at making you the best Apex player that you can possibly be. It doesn't matter what you are struggling with, we have a solution for you. So if you want to get better at Apex and start to climb into Diamond, Masters, or even Predator, click the link in the description, pick yourself up a membership, or I might have to get a real job. Okay, but now why am I saying that people are jumping ship? What's all of the fuss about? Well, for starters, because of the nature of our videos being focused around tips and tricks mainly, we get a wide variety of viewers. And with those viewers, we get tons of comments talking about a lot of different stuff. Like, for example, this comment here from James that simply says, "This rank season is so crap. It's impossible at gold/plat when my teammates just die off drop and I'm left 1v3 to hide all game. So dead." Or even this one from JMH saying 7 kills to get +12 in gold 2. Get crappy teammates, lose 16 in ranked arenas. This season is so trash. Or even this one from Breely saying more and more hostile towards casual players, more and more urge to leave. And all these comments are examples from one video. We have more across all of our other ones. But the comments aren't the only evidence of players leaving. Apex's viewership on ranked tips has just completely tanked this season. So when looking at all these comments, we can pretty much figure out the main issues that Apex players are having and even what Respawn could potentially change around to accommodate more players in the game. So first off, issue number 1 obviously is the pace at which the games are now played. With placement being so heavily weighted, a lot of players opt to forego the early game fights and then rotate hard to an end game spot and wait for the final zones to then get their kills. That then draws the games out sometimes to the final zones, meaning you've spent 22 minutes in one game if the ring closes completely. And a lot of players don't like that playstyle. They want to drop, fight, get some kills, and then be rewarded for those kills. But if they do it now in this season and they die, they aren't rewarded for those kills because they didn't get placement points with that, and then they end up D-ranking. So the slower paced games have really pushed the aggressive players away from rank because their playstyle isn't one that gets points anymore, and they would rather play something else. Now, the next issue is of course the time constraints that some players have. People have jobs, schools, families, and a lot of other commitments in real life. Some people just don't have the time to play Apex 24 hours a day, and that is a fair argument. There are some really lucky people out there that do get to play the game all day, every day, and obviously they do have some advantage there. So there are some players that aren't too happy with the fact that they're getting punished and aren't able to hit higher ranks because they aren't able to dedicate hours on end to grinding out the ranks. Plus, with this new season, the cost to get into games is higher and the total amount of RP needed to get into those ranks is much more. Like, the amount of RP that I have right now would have gotten me into Masters last season, and I'm only in Diamond. So this season is a lot more grindy and requires a lot more time. And of course, whenever you talk about ranked, you always have to bring up the solo queuers because those are a huge issue when it comes to balancing. Now, there have been tons of opinions on solo queue thrown around this season. Some people think it's really good and other people think it's awful. Solo queue has always been a touchy subject when it comes to Apex because it is a team game at its core, obviously. So you have 3 people on a team, and on average a team of 3 randoms will do a lot worse than a 3 stack who have coordination and set plans. So that obviously drives a wedge into some players' desire to play the game, because if they're going into game after game being at a set disadvantage, then why would they want to play play? What are they getting out of the game? And these are all solid arguments that players bring up. Obviously, if more than one player is having these problems, then they are worth talking about, addressing, and seeing if the community can push for some solutions. So let's start off with issue number one, the pace of the games. This one will always be an issue with the player base. Apex is a battle royale, so the point of the game will always be to be the last team standing. And as far as Apex rank system goes, there will always be issues balancing kills and placement to make both sides happy. Currently, kills are well rewarded. You get huge boosts in RP with kills, but you also have to be able to survive and be the last team standing. So really the only way to fix this would be make kills worth more, but then we would have the same issue as the previous seasons where teams would all just run at each other and there would be 3 squads left by round 2. So sadly there is no easy solution when it comes to this one. This is one of those complicated subjects that I'm sure Respawn has a lot of debate over inside their office. So it's kind of a pick your poison situation when it comes to this. But anyway, let's move on to issue number 2, the time constraints. Now, like I said, a lot of people have jobs, schools, families, that kind of stuff, and they can't play all day, and that is 100% fair. And I'm sure that there are a lot of really talented players that just can't get the time to practice in because of that. But actually, looking into a lot of the players that are in high ranks, there are a surprising amount of them that have full-time jobs or school and are still able to hit those high ranks. There are plenty of examples, but one really good one that I want to bring up is Tech. Tech is an NA pro player who's made ALGS finals and is also a top 100 Predator this season. But on top of that, he is also an aerospace engineer, so he has a full-time job at what I believe is NASA, I could be wrong there. But he's able to do that and also play at a top level. Another solid example is Z Davis, another NA pro who works 2 jobs and is able to scrim and place high in tournaments and also keep a high rank. And obviously not everyone's situation is the same, but there are a lot of examples of people holding a full-time life and making high ranks. So with that being said, does the argument of not having enough time still hold up? I'm not sure, I'm just providing information, so let me know what you guys think in the comments down below. And now we have the solo queuers. A big thing I always see pop up is players saying that they get terrible randoms and that's the reason that they can't climb. Comments like this one from Achilles talking about how solo queue is rough and playing with randoms can be demoralizing. But there actually has been a very solid solo queue fix proposed for a while now, and I still think it applies to this season. If Respawn is able to figure out a way to make solo queue cost less RP with little to no exploits, then we could see a very healthy solo queue season. So for example, normally it costs 45 RP to get into a gold 2 game, but if you were a solo queue player, maybe it only costs 30 RP, so you're losing 15 less RP potentially because you aren't in a 3 stack. Less potential loss means players aren't as heavily punished if they aren't running with a team. That can make players a lot more comfortable on their grinds and promote a very competitive solo queue environment. That is honestly the best fix for solo queue players, and there could even be a workaround for duos as well. There's no real other option for solo queuers. I think that's just the best one that Respawn could go with, so that's what I'm laying out for you guys. But now I want to turn it over to you, the community. Do you guys love this season so far? Do you hate it? What would you change? What would you tweak? Let me know. The Apex devs are actually fairly active in the community, so there's a fair chance that they could see this video, look at the comments, and maybe we inspire some changes. But with that being said though, I really hope you guys enjoyed this video and maybe you even learned something new. If you did and you want to stay up to date with the latest and greatest Apex Legends tips, tricks, and news, don't forget to smash that like and subscribe button. Thank you all for watching. Once again, I'm 8 Second Gaming, and I will see you in the next one.